Hi, thanks very much for clicking on the video link. My name is Natalie Armstrong-Motin with Marketing Resolution, and this is another in the series of idle chat videos for the American Bar Association's Section for Dispute Resolution. Today, I get to interview a colleague from Johannesburg, South Africa, Veerash. So nice to have you on the idle chat with me.
Thank you so much for this invitation, Natalie. I am excited. I'm loaded, and I'm not even sure how we're going to go about this, but I know we're going to have fun. So thank you so much.
Well, it's my pleasure. So, Veerash, the way that it works, got all of these questions on cards. What we do, shuffle the cards. The cards will tell us what it is that we're going to talk about. So, how are things in South Africa these days?
Lovely, because the weather has changed. We're now going into our summer and we're having happier days, lots of rain, so that's welcome. But we're looking forward to our sunshine and the holiday season.
Always good. It's always good. Always good. All right, Veerash. First card reads, if you never had to sleep again, how would you spend the extra time?
If I never had to sleep, I would probably have time, hopefully I'm not tired enough, and keep my eyes open to read all the books that are lying all over my house, an endless list of books that I buy but never read. And probably give myself that self-care, just be able to read some of those books, at least some of them, not the 20 half-opened ones that are lying all over the house. So I'd use that time to do that.
That's, yeah, I'm on that team too. All right. Veerash, what is the coldest you've ever been?
Is it to people or weather?
Well, I hadn't really thought of the first that you mentioned, but I would be curious about both of those. What have you got for me for an answer for both situations?
Okay, so in terms of, being around people and just not feel is when because we're trained to understand people, their emotions, and how they're using situations to manipulate it. I think for me, when I'm starting to see someone taking advantage of someone, is when I will actually become quite direct and quite cold in my interaction with them to say, look, this is not good. This is, this is not acceptable in terms of the behavior. And whether the coldest I've been, it was actually in Scotland. And the weather turned from a warm day to an icy cold day within minutes. And I hadn't planned on taking a jacket. So walking the Royal Mile freezing. It's the coldest I've been.
I would like to say that's a unique experience, but I hear that from a lot of people who come to visit us in Northern Europe. Yeah. Not warm, not warm. All right, Veerash, the next card, you don't have to answer if this is going to incriminate you in any way, shape, or form in front of your friends and family.
Okay.
What is the most expensive thing you've ever broken?
Oh, probably my vehicle. And I didn't intend on it. I just wasn't paying attention and drove into a curb. I just wasn't paying attention.
Things happen.
Yes, it does.
Things happen. All right. The next card is, what question or questions would you like to ask a time traveler who's visiting you from 200 years in the future?
What would I ask them? Well, what was your hygiene like?
Fair question. Very fair question. All right. Next card. Is there something that always cheers you up?
Yes. It's the sound of children laughing. It really is the most innocent, joyful sound possible. It lights my life when I hear children. It doesn't even matter what causes the laughter. It doesn't matter their social standing or socioeconomic background. When you hear them laughing, that pure innocent joy, it just lights me up.
Yeah, that is a good recipe for happiness. Yeah. Veerash, could you describe for me, please, what your perfect day would look like?
I think weather aside, I think it's more of having just the calmness in a day, the not busy, being able to go half an hour, even an hour at a time, just being in control of it, being able to fulfill myself with things that make me happy, even if it's just sitting around, having a cup of something warm to drink or cool to drink, and just hearing the sounds around me. Just that would just be with my mind being present in that moment.
Stillness, a little bit of stillness. Yeah,
It is.
very good. And Veerash, I'll ask you the same question that I ask all of my guests on the Idle Chat as the last question. And that is, what do you love most about the work that we do in the resolution industry and as mediators?
Coming from a legal background where I was involved in litigations and trials and seeing people in that, just being confused by what is happening around them. What we give in mediation is a sense of control and giving them an environment where they feel heard. They feel heard, and then they have that opportunity to say what their deepest thoughts are to someone, when we, especially running an individual session with them, to someone who's just going to listen. They're not going to judge. They're not going to take what they hear and use it against that person outside that conversation. That safety of that environment to protect their fears, and allowing them to express themselves without, and we're trained to, our communication skills are trained to ask the right questions, to remain silent appropriately. I think that is what the part of mediation people don't understand brings as an advantage to sitting in that environment.
It really is the difference between going to court for a transactional case versus a very human experience.
It is. And I think, yeah, sorry. And I think that once, a lot of people see it as a tick box approach. And I think once you're in it, once the clients are in it, once the people are in it, and they actually realize this is a professional person who will listen to me. And sometimes it's very difficult when you're a lawyer and they think, well, why are you not doing the competitive, putting us against each other? Why are you actually giving us your attention? It confuses them. It's sort of, they're imbalanced in a way, because it's not what they expect. And I think that's where we develop, or we understand how important it is to give them that space to speak their voice.
It is so important, and it's such a privilege to be present when all of those really good things happen.
It is, and that when you start seeing their own light bulbs go on, thinking, whoa, I have control of, you actually telling me I have control over this decision. We can tailor it to what we want. And you say, yeah, and they just go, okay, then. It's just that light bulb that goes on is just so rewarding.
Well, but it's a whole body experience. You see the light bulb go on, but you also see them, they sit back in their chair, their shoulders drop, their faces get lighter and brighter. The smile comes back. You see it's a whole experience, and it's really fun to be a part of that.
It is, and like we were talking about earlier, it brings joy to the process. It brings, in addition to that sense of relief, it also brings that understanding. Like, with court processes, it's confusing. With mediation, there's understanding from all sides of it.
It is. We are really lucky people to be involved in the world in this way. Well, Veerash, I really appreciate you spending some of your valuable time with me for an idle chat. It was lovely to get to know you for a few minutes.
Yes, it was. I enjoyed our conversation. Thank you, Natalie.
My pleasure. I hope to see you again soon.
Definitely.